Welcome back here on Sports Connection. We have the Lady Purple softball squad joining us now. We have head coach Shae Dunn as well as Nyah Perkins and Hadley Morrison joining us now. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm going to start with Coach. You know, a new season coming along very quickly. What are some things you all are kind of putting in the effort of working on in the off season to get ready for what's about to start in a couple weeks?
Mostly we've been trying to get used to the turf. That is new for a lot of our girls. It's new for us as well as coaches. Learning how to slide on it, working on our offensive game the most, and just putting some things together on defense as well.
Yeah, Coach, and you know the ball comes off that a little different, doesn't it?
Yes.
So there's so many, and you'll find more things as you go through
Yes.
practice this spring to adjust to. Nyah, let's start with you. I want to talk to you and Hadley for a minute. Junior this year, right?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been playing softball?
5 years.
5 years. If you had to pick one thing that was your favorite thing about softball, what would it be?
Doing the splits at first base.
Doing the splits at first base like Willie Mays Hayes. I love it. Hadley, 8th grade, moving up to the varsity for the Lady Purples. That's got to be exciting.
It is very exciting.
I think you're in the circle. You pitch a little, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your, what's your favorite thing right now? You only got, what, 4 or 5 years of softball under your belt?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things right now is probably being around the girls and knowing that there's a team there for me.
Yeah, that's always very cool, being part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And you all combine your talents and, try to see how far it'll take you. And I'm looking forward to seeing how far it does take you.
Coach, another thing kind of going off of that, I mean, you do have some girls that are juniors, they're older, and then you do have girls like Hadley that are 7th, 8th graders and a lot of young girls. How do you kind of get them to come together whenever some of them, obviously, they're in high school every day, and then other ones are at middle school, and then they have to come together for practice every day?
At first it was a struggle. There is a huge age gap there, but mostly we have our older girls, and we really stress to them that the way you carry yourself in practice, like they're watching, their eyes are always on you. So whatever you produce out there on the field, outside of the field, they're watching. So just coming out there and letting them know that everybody has the chance to compete, as well as they need to be good role models for them.
Nyah, since you're a junior, you've been around the team a little longer maybe than Hadley. Who are some of the other girls that you expect to kind of step up this year and have a bigger role?
Really just all of our high schoolers in general. We only have 6 this year, so most of our team's younger, so we just try our best to set a good example for them and teach them how to be better teammates to each other.
One thing that does kind of come with like softball and baseball as well is that a lot of the younger girls do play up, and you do see a lot of that younger talent. Hadley, for you, I mean, being an 8th grader and one of like the younger girls, but also having that experience, I mean, what are just some goals that you have, especially for this year, as it is your last year before you go into high school?
I think our goals for this year is just probably trying our best and, being with a group of older girls, just knowing that you're going to make mistakes and you just got to keep going.
Coach, how much have you been able to be around this new team this year?
We had preseason workouts. I try to see them at least 3 times a week before the season starts, and now we're moving into 5 days a week. We try to get in there for 2 hours if we can, just as much as possible. They see me a lot more than they probably should sometimes, but it's good for us.
Nyah, I know that you kind of said your favorite thing is doing the splits at first base. Obviously, growing up, whenever I played softball, I usually played first base, so I completely understand what you're talking about. And I'm sure, especially with that new turf, it's probably a little bit easier because it's a lot slicker. How are you kind of adjusting, and I'll ask both of you, kind of adjusting to the new turf and playing on that? Obviously, with your home field, there are other ones that are out there, but you'll be playing on dirt as well as turf this year, so kind of adjusting with both of those.
Yeah, a big difference for me at first base is like reading the ball better, like off the scoop and stuff. Like the bounce is a lot different than it was on dirt, so that's one thing that I've been trying to work on a lot.
Hadley, for you, I know especially if you're in the circle, I'm sure it's a lot different with the turf and stuff like that, so how have you been adjusting to it?
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, it's different, it's just different.
Well, girls, I'm not sure who you opened the season with. I looked at your schedule, Coach, and I didn't dive in too much, but I want to talk a little bit about, the teams you face here locally. It's always a challenge, and are you up for that?
I think we're ready. One thing they know that I stress is, as long as you come out there and compete, then I have no reason to be upset with what you do. They know we stress effort, we stress talent only comes from effort and how much you work hard. So I'm excited for what's to come, and I'm sure they'll bring it, whatever it is happens.
Having a team, I mean, especially getting them prepared for like the new season, and it's always a grind before that first game. So how has that anticipation been with just putting in the work and putting in the effort before that very first game?
Well, we have our first scrimmage coming up on the 2nd, so we've been stressing to them a lot of just being out on the field and everybody in a position, doing a lot of situational defensive drills, just trying to do the fine tuning. Like I said, the base running, that's a big thing. We have a young team, so getting your softball IQ together so that when you are thrown into that position, it's not foreign, like you at least know the fundamentals, the basics. Just breaking down the small things that could lead to bigger things. That's been our main goal.
I would love to know from both you girls, just because being a young kid, your age one time, I did this at home. I played as much as I could, practiced as much as I could at home. And do you guys have a little area at home that's ready for softball practice? You got anything set up?
Yeah, we actually have a net set up in our garage. So we have to move it back whenever we pull our cars in. But whenever the garage is empty, then we have our opportunity.
That's great. What about you, Hadley? You got any place to pitch back there?
Yeah, in our garage we have a little setup back there, and then a little hitting net to hit into.
I guess we'll finish up with you guys and kind of stick with you two, just about some goals you have for yourself and just how you want to see yourself grow throughout the season.
I feel like I definitely need to work on my body language. I get frustrated a lot, and sometimes that shows too much. And I feel like that's one thing I definitely want to improve. And I just want to improve in general and just be better than I was last year.
Yeah, same as Nyah. I like to put in some more effort towards just the little things.
Never let them see you sweat, Nyah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for taking the time for coming out and joining us, and we wish you all luck in your scrimmage next week, as well as whenever you start the beginning of the season. We'll be seeing you all very, very soon.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Sports Connection after the break.